So I want this mesh to have more of a curve around it so it's a little bit less rigid. So I'm going to go back into object mode, and I think what I'm going to do is just add a bevel modifier. Before I do that, though, I'm going to actually Shift D, so we can try this a couple of different ways. So the way I think I'm actually going to do it is just the simplest and most straightforward way possible. Is I'll add a modifier, and I will just add a bevel under the modifier tab. Now, having done that, I've got a bevel, and what I can do is I can just add some segments to this to make it a little bit more gradual. I think I'm not going to go too crazy. We'll just do something like that. And for my purposes, this will probably be fine. However, depending on what you're trying to do, or depending on, if we look at the curve here in this corner, maybe I want to be able to affect this curve so that it's a little bit more gradual this way as well as this way. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this. But let's just take a look at doing it the other way, and just so that we know there are options. So same deal. I can add a modifier and a bevel. But there's a series of other settings that can affect things. Shading I'm going to leave alone, but like, for example, under geometry, there is there are some options that you can change. So I can change this from sharp to arc, and we can see that the geometry changed in what it's trying to do. Now in this case, that probably doesn't help me. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. Actually, let's go ahead and apply this. I'll undo it in a minute. But if we go ahead and tab into this and look, we can see that the geometry is not exactly what I want. I've got this weird big face that's happening. So I'm not going to stick with this. But the point is, it's another option. Likewise, if I go to the profile, and actually let's do this. I'm going to add multiple segments again. Another option that I have is to be able to just change this from the super ellipse profile that it defaults to a custom profile. Or for that matter, I suppose I can change the shape here. Make that stronger or weaker, or I can add sort of a curve that way, so that if I wanted this to be curved inward, or if I wanted it to be more extreme, I could do that. But above and beyond that, there's also this custom setting. And that way I can kind of do it visually. So I can go ahead and just grab this and affect things the way I want. And I can even do it multiple ways. If I've got a large, elaborate curve that I'm trying to do, I can get some pretty cool things happening. So anyway, the point is there's a lot of settings here that are well worth playing around with and getting to know. But 9 times out of 10, I usually just do the most basic variation on this and then modify from there.